All right. I better be live. And I heard myself, so all good. All right. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to my desktop. Steve here at Trade Ideas. I just bought some of this OKLO, but I've got to stop in here because I'm going live and I don't want to have to focus on trading and have to find my risk. But as we wait for people to file in, I've got some really interesting stuff to show today. I'm actually going to be hijacking Dan tomorrow, but you'll see a different perspective from Dan. But I'll wait for some more people to file in before I get into that. Now, I'm basically the one who's kind of in charge of the trade of the week here. Some people know that, some people don't. And on the weekend after Friday of last week, it just felt like a really, really changed environment. And buying dips wasn't working on Friday. Buying dips really wasn't working yesterday. And so far today, buying dips hasn't really been working very much. Hello, Edwin. I'm good. And so I went to, so the trade of the week was cash. If you missed it, it's just a conceptual reminder that you can have cash as a position, and that can work for you sometimes. So that said, the market's been extremely difficult the last few days. A lot of newer traders are probably learning quickly, buying dips that don't work. You buy a dip, you get stopped out. Kind of what I'm doing here in a KLO, but just doing it in very small size. See a big ledge here at 30. It's kind of held that this morning, kind of a pivot point. I see some more people filing in, which is good. But the NASDAQ, really ugly. We've got finally a relief bounce here after 3 solid days, Friday, Monday, today, to be expected. And when you look at these levels, you can kind of see the algorithms. Probably bells were going off as we took out that level right there. If you can't see, hold on. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, get out of there, TikTok. I'm talking about this right here. So the algorithms have a way of looking left and seeing what's the prior low. Let's go down there and let's bang on that low and test it and see if there's any, weak hands underneath there. So that was the tippy top low inverse, if you will, of the NASDAQ so far today. And so we kind of reversed course, and I consider this to be what we call an oversold bounce. Hello, Corvette. Yeah, it's live. So again, this is the support session. As I wait for more people to file in, I'm happy. I'll be here an hour. I'm happy to take questions because it is the support hour. We can talk about whatever you guys want. I just start rambling about the markets in general as I wait for people to file in. If you're watching on X channel, you can, if you want to ask a question, you can come over to the Trade Ideas YouTube channel and you can use the live chat box. The MLGO is confusing you. So let's see, I pull that up. Yikes. Okay, so first thing I notice is China stock, so it's going to have overnight news. Micro algo. So big day on Friday. Absolutely just reversed course on Monday and not doing a whole lot today. These are the kind of stocks that, when they come from nothing to this greatness, this is a tremendously volatile range that has been established. And, it gave away half of it back on Friday, gapped up on Monday, probably suckered some people in, and just sold off since. That's a great historical recap. I'm sure you already know that, Corvette, but you're probably wondering, where do I go from here? And if it were me, you see this blue line popping up here slowly. This is what I talked about on Trader TV Live last week. This is the 130. It's an SMA 130 on a 15-minute chart, and it's just solid as can be. My friend Brian Shannon introduced it to me and in his book. And so if it's down here close enough in the neighborhood to this level, I absolutely hate coughing up my shares down here. because this is where support is. And the support, likely will try to hold. So I'd be looking for this SMA 130 to hold. Also on the daily chart, you've got the 10 SMA coming up. You do have a lower low here on the 15 minutes. So getting out now, if you're underwater, which I assume you might be, is a tough one. You got to just kind of define your risk. But for me, it's so close enough to where I just want to see it test this 130 line. Arthur, can you explain how to correctly use the results from the swing picks? What I can do is I'm going to open up a docked channel bar. I don't do the swing picks. Chris does, and he will be in another day this week, maybe Thursday. But what I can do is we can go to the, where are we here? The TI strength alert. I know I'm missing it. Hang on a second. Portfolio. Why am I not finding? There we go. Swing picks. Okay, so now this opened up a welcome screen. So rather than me try to explain necessarily as much as I can, this opening market screen here is designed to really give you the concept behind this. And if you missed it, it might open up on your second screen if you have it. But this is the content, and I don't do this content. What I do know is that these are picked by an algorithm that's basically looking for relative strength for continued ideas that are constantly moving up. And there's usually a pretty good, as I said, when you open up that channel, you'll get that splash window, which gives you the actual definitions of the best way to manage those trades. Hopefully that'll help, Arthur. Again, just the easiest thing to do is dock channel bar. Oops. And then you can click this show more button here. And then swing picks. And it will open up this screen right here. So a lot of information you can read. Entry, stop loss, things like that. Bjorn, I'm waiting to see if SMCI filed deadline today. Well, we don't know what's going to happen in terms of filing deadlines. All we can do is go on what the chart tells us. And it's working off a really good move from last week. Like everything else, 3 red candles today. A lot of stocks look like this. However, we switched to my 15-minute view, and it has reclaimed the momentum line. So the momentum to the downside is broken, as indicated by that. But the price needs to stay above that. Now, if anybody knows something that we don't, if the filing is going to be a big deal or not, ideally we want this moving average to kind of bottom out here and just hold the price. That's going to be what you need to see, and then it'll translate into a nice wick over here on the daily chart. All right, let me see how many are watching live. Okay, so there's people on X. I'm gonna shift gears here for a second. This is gonna be something that's pretty cool. And I'm going to tell you, Dan, the CEO, will be in tomorrow, as he always is on Wednesday, for those of you that like his segment. But I'm literally going to steal his thunder just because I want to. He stumbled across something pretty cool. And what it is well, he's actually sending me more stuff now. I'll look at that later. Leveraging ChatGPT with trade ideas. So let me just introduce this here. Now, I know not everybody is spending money, $19 a month on, GPT Plus or GPT 4.0. So I don't know if the free version is going to give what I'm going to show you as a result. And this isn't really something I'm showing you to tell you to go run out and do. I'm planting some seeds here of how going forward this trade ideas platform can be really simplified from having to come in here and figure out what filters do I do and what do I type and what. So a little backstory here. Those of you that use Trade Ideas a lot, I'm going to minimize that again, especially Pepe, if he's here. You know there's two ways in which we can share our scans. Now, the easiest way is loading from the cloud. Now, this cloud link is basically a proprietary encrypted link, so it's kind of hard to break. It's proprietary to Trade Ideas. But before the cloud, our CTO Phil, and this is almost 20 years ago now, he built something called the collaboration. And a lot of you may have seen the collaborate feature here. This is the precursor to the cloud. And this is basically just a simple, I think it's PHP code. And inside the code is all the information that today's unbelievably powerful GPT can look at and go, I recognize that. I know that code. I see what you're doing there. Let me reverse engineer that. So with that said, over the weekend, Dan started playing around again with our premium version. We're paying 19 bucks a month from this, and I'm not expecting people to run out and buy it, but I want to show you some interesting things as to where we are here in the world currently in this timeline. So we've got this 20-year-old technology that we can collaborate and share links with, and within that code is all the secret sauce. Now you add on top of that this new Chat GPT and the logic it understands about markets. And I spent some time. First thing I had to do, and for those that are curious that are maybe going to want to emulate what I'm doing here, I'll preface it with this. I have got 3 PDFs, and I'm happy to share these PDFs. One of them is a filter code set. You're starting to see, where I'm going with this. This is a lot of Trade Ideas data stuff that we've got in PDF form, and we can load this directly into the GPT. And then there's another little document that Dan kind of created, just kind of a what's behind Trade Ideas, the mastery guide of things. And so that was another PDF that I loaded. And what I'm saying here is I'm happy to Jim, hi. I'm happy to share these PDFs with anybody who's got maybe a premium version or who wants to explore what I'm about to show you. But step number 1 would be probably ideal to train your own GPT, because everything I'm doing here doesn't cross barriers to other people's GPT. And if I were to close this tab, I might lose a lot of the logic and conversation that we've already had going. And I've had a lot of conversation yesterday. And so I'm kind of saving today's goodness. Yeah, I gave it quality. Good job for today. I'm trying to be nice to it. Dan's not being so nice to his. Maybe you'll see that tomorrow. So today I said, assuming I'm a brand new user, please do share that. I want to run that through. So Pepe and anybody else, just the easiest thing to do, I'm going to type in the email. Just do a message, attention, Steve. I have these files. I didn't share them with the support staff. So just, attention me and I'll get it to you after I'm done here. And you can start to train if you have a GPT, ideally if you have a premium or a pro account. Great. So here's my prompt today. Let's say I'm a new user and I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. What's an RSI? What's a 10-day average? I don't know. All I know is as the market sells off, can you suggest an oversold scan bounce that I could use? Now, all this stuff here, this is brand new. They've updated the new version in their chatbot. It used to just give me an answer, but now it's kind of breaking down a whole new set of reasoning. So it's giving me a basic premise, showing me what it's looking at, and then it actually, look at this. Look at how simple this is. I'm going to copy this. I already told it. I uploaded a couple of collaboration links, random ones, and I said, hey, this is a collaboration from Trade Ideas. Can you make sense of it? And it goes, yeah, I can make sense of it. So again, it was another prompt I gave it. So it's spitting back to me now a collaboration link of what it thinks it's going to do. And it's giving me the breakdowns of the scan, what it did, why it did it, RSIs, oversold. Very interesting stuff. How to use this scan. Okay, copy. So let's go ahead and do that. So I've got it copied. I'm going to go ahead and just do a new alert window, launch it, and then I'm going to collaborate into it. Paste. Now we have a new window, and we've got some ideas. Okay. Tesla oversold. So there's a lot of things that are oversold and might be trying to bounce. Let's see what it did here. Again, I didn't configure any of this. It decided it wanted a new 5-minute low, and then we could correct it and say, oh yeah, we'll do lots of sharing. I'll say, well, you know what, GPT, maybe I don't want a 5-minute low. Maybe I want a 5-minute high or a bar reversal. And you can prompt it to change that. But for the most part, what it did was it gave me minimum price, gave me some relative volume, change in 10 days. Wow, minus 10%, change from the close down 3%. And then it's kind of keying off the 200 days. So I thought, okay, that's kind of interesting. What if, let's go back to the prompt here. What if we, I said, okay, this scan is good, start. How about, can you refine it to only show me stocks that are at or close to the 50-day moving average? Not exactly touching, but close to it, above. See how I'm being conversational with it. And so it said, all right, let's do that. So it gave me a new link. Let's copy that link. And I think I've already got it open, actually. It's this guy right here. All right. Oh, look at that. So it's telling me this thing is at or above the 50. So all I did was give it a simple straightening out that I wanted to see something a little bit more cleaner, focused on the 50-day moving average, and it gave me that. It also gave me IBKR earlier. I think that was a good looking one too. So IBKR is kind of nuzzled back down to it. But at one point, it's giving me a real-time list of ideas that are oversold, but at a key level that I want to watch. So let's do this. That's as far as I've kind of gotten this morning. It gave me a scan for oversold bounces. I could have suggested maybe not a 5-minute low, maybe it give me a 5-minute high. But I think you guys can see did it make multiple strategies? No, it didn't. It made just one strategy. It was a new 5-minute low, but we can take that and we can just further it and say, instead of a 5-minute low, can you show me the same setup, but with a 15-minute bar reversal or 15-minute high instead? Of course, it's going to be, did it give multiple strategies? No. We can walk back through that, but the second one I showed, Jim, was just a top list. So it was only giving me a set of filters. Okay, updated version. Let's copy and see what the GPT has suggested. So I'm going to go new alert window. This is the old one. I'm going to collaborate into the new one. And I know there's a shortcut, but I'm not going to do it yet. Okay, so I've pasted in the new idea. Configure. Oh, so it actually gave us a 15-minute green bar reversal. It's kind of bypassed my suggestion of a new high, gave me this instead. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, there's that IBKR. So it's that was the last one that came through. Okay, so the last one that came through was at 7:45. You see that purple arrow, the blue arrow, which actually failed. It didn't work. But I think you guys can start to see where we're going with this. Now, what would you guys maybe like to see? I think where I wanted to go next was, maybe somebody type in Pepe or somebody who wants to see what output we can get based on, a simple input query outside of my way of thinking. Maybe there's something else that we can try here live. Whoops. Oh God, did I close that? Don't tell me I closed my GPT. Oh, I think I did. Oh no. Oh no, there it is. Whew. All right, we're back. Okay, lows to VWAP. Let's see if we can come up with okay. New scan idea. I just like to keep things simple with this GPT. Show me oversold stocks that are hitting oversold lows and touching. Let's try like a 5-day VWAP, because if they're really oversold, maybe a 5-day VWAP and touching 5-day VWAP. Let's just see if I can come up with that. Look, and it suggests, it'll give you suggestions too in the most current version. Okay. Trade idea scan. Oversold stocks hitting new lows and touching 5-day VWAP. Here's what it's going to look for. Here's the key features of this scan. Here's some of the codes they're using, some of the customs. Let's copy the code that it gave us. And alert window, launch. Now, Dan has a way in which he's automatically launching into an alert window. I got to ask him how he did that, so I don't have to keep doing this step after step. Not giving us anything. There we go. Since I don't have the 5-day VWAP on here, I just have to assume that it is touching. Let's see if I can add it. Indicator. VWAP. You know what? I want to add that, and let's change that back. I got ahead of myself there. Yeah, so let's do this. Let's have it use a regular VWAP. Oh boy, it's really, that's why it's blank every time I move it over to it. All right, I gotta let it fill back in here so I don't, page went unresponsive on me. Okay, there we go. I got it back. Let's do 2 days VWAP instead of 5-day. All right, so I'm asking it to change it back to today's VWAP so we can kind of track it on the chart. Okay, there's today's change. I'm really bogging this thing down, I can tell. Okay, all I want is that copied link. I'm going to keep that up. And then we'll go new. Collaborate. Okay, now these should be new lows. Touching VWAP. It looks like they're doing it to me. But this is a very simple scan for sure. Let me bring this back over. Yeah, it's pretty cool for sure. I see a couple people looking for the email. I'll go ahead and reply to you right now since I can do it quickly. I'll just attach those. Wait a minute, how do I attach? Insert. All right, there's for Arthur and John.
He wanted Dr. Chai's opinion, so I guess I'll just get your version of the opinion.
All right, I just replied to a couple of you. Okay, so sure. No, we don't have the stats of the trade of the week. The trade of the week is just a random discretionary idea. And many weeks they don't even trigger. Like last week, RR didn't even trigger. The market's just been getting weak. The last week coming up to this week was cash. No, there's no back test on that. Okay, so Edwin, what we do? Oh no, I've lost probably. There we go. So once I've copied the, and again, this is called the collaboration link. It's not the cloud link. It's the collaboration link. If you came late, our cloud link is encrypted, but the collaboration link, as a wonderful, happy accident, was created in a open source format, just basic code, and the the GPT bot understands exactly what it's doing and is able to reverse engineer everything. So once we've copied the collaboration link from the GPT output, the easiest thing to do is just open a new window and launch a new window as it is, regardless of what it is. And from there, you can right click and collaborate. And then we're just pasting everything that the GPT gave us. And it's live right now, but I can quickly go and see, what the history was coming into the day. And I can see what the configuration is. So the key element is the right click, collaborate, and then paste into the scan window what the GPT recommended. All right, hello. Just catching up here. All right, so according to Dan, he told me he's actually on Grok now. And from what I understand, the Grok 3, everybody that's smart in this industry seems to say is kind of the leader right now. So I'm curious to see what he's coming up with over there. Actually, let's see here. He's sharing some of his conversations with me. So Dan's kind of over there trying to train Grok on how trade ideas, kind of works. And that's interesting. So what we're working with here is GPT. Oh, well, that would be the collaboration that I just showed, Iris. Maybe, why can't I get that to go through? It might be too much. I don't think that's. Yeah, Grok 3 is going to be free for everyone, but I also saw he's probably going to yank that at some point and get people addicted to it and then charge for it. These are just, Iris, these aren't necessarily valid scans. These are just kind of demonstrating the power of where we're going in the future for people who want to have help using a GPT bot to get what they want. Let's try a fun new scan here. Let's see. So I've used that 130. Okay. A new scan. Oh, good, Edwin. Okay. I want to see stocks that are down 3 days in a row and are now, I'm going to use the word bouncing, see what they come up with for bouncing at or near the 130 SMA filter for 15 minutes. Price above 10, average volume 500K, please. So if you're coming late, this is the new thing we're kind of playing around with. Okay, yeah, we'll do that one next, net trade. Let's just see what they came up with here. And again, you'll notice the brand new version of the GPT 4.0 is it's giving us a real nice category breakdown with a header, key features, the breakdown, the actual codes they're using, the logic behind why it's using it. So there's what we want. This is the collaboration string. It's an open source string. I'm going to keep that window open because when I close it, I lose what I want. And then here's the key. If you're coming late, we just we don't want to open any new scan. We just open a new alert window and launch it. Doesn't matter what it is. And then we shift to right click, collaborate. And then we're going to paste what the GPT output gave us. What I do is I just kind of go to history real quick to see what it's been showing us. So this one just gave us a heartbeat. So, oops, interestingly enough, heartbeat, and it's going pretty darn fast too. What happened here? Let me take a look. Oh yeah, that's not correct. That's not even close to correct. Hang on a second. I'm going to copy this link again. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try a top list window. We can collaborate into a top list window. And it's giving me ideas. Okay, this is, so it didn't like this one. It didn't know what to give me on this one. It couldn't figure out the 130, so that's interesting. Why didn't it do that? Well, that's okay. Let's move on because somebody else wants to see something. You got the beat randomly weeks ago. What the beat means, and if anybody wants to know, is that you have to assign an event in an alert window. You need an event, new high, new low, crossed above, block, whatever. Otherwise, it's just considered a top list window. Okay. Edwin, I can't create a scan to check the afternoon volume because that's not a key input of what we already have. What it's doing is it's taking what we already have and shuffling the pieces around to make what it can. Those are those PDF files I started with yesterday. I loaded it up with, and I mentioned I can give those out. If you email and ask for me, I can reply with those PDF files. I mean, it's kind of advanced stuff, but it's still what's coming in the world. And so people should be aware of what's coming and how to do it. Okay, let's try a new scan combining relative volume and on balance volume. Let's see here. First, I want to see what we have for on balance volume. I don't think we have anything for on balance volume. Yeah. So as I type into the search term here, the keyword balance is not popping up, which means it's not necessarily one of our key inputs. We've got lots of volume. We've got relative volume, but we don't have on balance volume. Let me try one more thing. Maybe it's OBV. I doubt it. EV is not working either. Okay, so can't make that one. So I'm going to try and retrain it here. I'm going to let it know it messed up. Okay, this scan you gave is missing the 130 touch or close to the 130 SMA filter. 15-minute charts. Can you reconfigure? Somebody told me if you're nice to the chat bot, you'll get better responses. Okay, this update ensures that the stocks have been down for 3 consecutive days and are now bouncing near the 130. It wasn't doing that the first time, so I'm not quite sure what the hangup is. Let's try an alert window again. Okay, it's back to the heartbeat. And then, all right, for some reason it's having a hard time with this one. Interesting. It's the first one that I've found that had a hard time. So take that for what it's worth. It's brand new technology, but we're just kind of discovering how we can get it to learn. Still in this one, not doing a whole lot. All right, well, the chat window's open. I'm happy to talk to you about any other questions, any other things trading related or trade ideas, scanning related. I just wanted to kind of, Dan is going to probably bore you guys, not bore you, but he's going to talk a lot tomorrow about what he's discovered, doing the same thing I just discovered. And he's probably a few steps ahead of me because that's just how it turned out. He's kind of showed me what he's come up with. So right now it's just kind of a toy we're tinkering with. Let's check in on the market. Still an oversold bounce in progress, and it's slowly building on itself. So it's probably much desired at this point by a lot of people. I can't remember. Let me see. What is this? I believe it's Pro. Whatever this little diamond icon is, that's going to be the one. Yes, I'd be happy to talk about go, no go, Edwin. So let's open up a new channel bar. Go, no go. And just like the swing channel, we have this floater. Okay, we have this floating information window. A couple of good videos, some more information. But first step is, if anybody's paying for this add-on, this is from the CMT group. And it's kind of similar to our trade wave, but it goes a bit more in depth because there's more nuance to the colors. So if I click on NVIDIA, you'll notice the colors have immediately changed. And I can zoom out a little bit here. I'm going to talk about this from a swing trading standpoint because that's how the CMT guys use it. But it can also be used on a 5-minute or a 15-minute chart because everything is the same regardless of what time frame you're using. You got 4 colors. You've got the deep pink, which means sell, sell, sell. It's very weak. You've got the light pink, which means, oh, it's coming out of the sell mentality. And then you've got the orange, which is neutral. And then you've got this cyan color, which says, oh, it's starting to come out of neutral and starting to get bullish. And then you've got the nice bluish color, which is the most bullish of all colors. So there's a perfect color grade right here in this oversold condition, all the way up through neutral. Now, when do you want to be buying? Well, a lot of people would say as something comes out of the orange and becomes light cyan, that's maybe the time to take a chance. So let's say you were in RGTI, as I imagine many people could be. This was a blockbuster. Look at all that beautiful color back here. But as things often do, after they go parabolic, they break. And I'm using Pro. Yeah, thanks. And as they break, it becomes almost impossible to trade. So if you're somebody who was sitting in RGTI and you just don't know what I should do, well, the last 5 days basically told you we're back to neutral. And today it just flashed a color that says you probably don't want to be in this stock anymore. So that's the 5 shaded colors and the logic behind the CMT group's go, no go charts, Edwin. Okay, so you need to click on a symbol. If you're paying for the service, when you click on the symbol inside of this of the docked window, you will get the colors. Now, once you've done that, if I want to type my own colors, I can start typing my own. Let's do something here. Here's that OKLO. I just bought that earlier. I'm going to switch to a 15-minute chart, and let's see what the go, no go tells me on a 15-minute chart. Well, it tells me I am a guesser. I am buying down here when there's blood in the streets. I'm not waiting for any sort of confirmation. However, now that I'm positioned in this guy, I'm going to turn off. Actually, I don't like those pre-market and post-markets. Okay, a little different story now. That's why I turned the pre-market and post-market off. I don't like what they do. I'm only concerned with the regular market hours for my simple moving averages, and I'm going to go ahead and say for the go, no go. So extremely overbought, just period after period of red. And then down here, actually, I'm going to say I bought this right when it turned light pink. So maybe I'm not as much of a thrill seeker, knife catcher as I thought I was. But what I'm hoping for is some orange to pop in here. And then I want to start seeing these colors. And that means that I'm sitting on my hands, no interest in selling. The risk, the incredible risk that I took down here, I would be a fool to start exiting here. If I took this much risk down here, I got to let this thing marinate and germinate and grow. So I'm just kind of walking you through my trade there. But that's what you want to do, Ed, when you want to click on the symbols. Now, I'm getting a good move in the market, not to be confused with our trade wave. And I use just the simple moving average. I'm getting a nice little green signal now here. The moving average is now supporting my 15-minute candle in Oklo, and feeling kind of smart about buying this candle right here for the moment. Haven't had to sit through too much risk. Ideally, it pops up and closes back above this 50, and I take it into tomorrow, and maybe I start selling up here in a perfect world. Because this declining 130 is so oversold. There's so much space in between. That space is going to be eaten up here pretty soon, and I want to ride that space if I can get it. And so if I do, that's where I start taking my my profits. So I was going to turn on the trade wave and see how maybe I'm close to getting a buy signal in this oversold knife that I caught. FX, oops. Trade wave. Nope, not quite there yet. But you see what's happening here is this cloud is starting to shrink. And I'm probably pretty close to getting a buy tag here. And I'll be happy if I see one. This buy tag here was quickly sold, and it hasn't had a tag since. So, all right, guys, whatever you want to talk about, we got another 10 minutes or so. We'll be heading to the developers meeting, find out more about what's going on. A lot of silver stocks just got annihilated. A lot of stocks taken a beating over the last 2 weeks for sure. But it really wasn't until recently that the NASDAQ kind of caught up. The IWM, as I'd mentioned last week, just could not get above this 50-day moving. And that's about as solid of a brick wall of an indicator as I've ever seen. 50-day moving average rolling over, just not even close to allowing the small caps to pop back up through there. Sure. So for those that kind of missed the intro, rightfully so, I've got a GPT Plus, and the new version is really spitting out some really interesting stuff. Dan, over the weekend, kind of discovered that our collaboration feature, which is any scan that we have, I can take this scan right here, and I can right click and I can collaborate it. Now I've got this code, and this code is open source, meaning GPT can read it. So we've been feeding it our own personal account. It's not universal for everybody, but we're kind of learning how to feed and interact our own personal GPT accounts ideas and this collaboration link, and let it kind of reverse engineer itself to start to teach itself how to maybe better help us configure for some scans. And so earlier I had asked it, and by the way, I started off with anybody who came late, you can email, I'll type it in here again, info@trade-ideas.com. If you want to play with this yourself, you'd be wise to start off as I did, using a couple of PDFs. So if you email me at that address personally, just address it, message to me, I can get back to you. And I can attach those 3 PDFs. And what those are, just basically our filter codes, our alert codes, and some other stuff that Dan created to just kind of train the GPT on how this is used. And so from there, all we're really doing is we're coming in here and we're saying, see, am I at the bottom? Yeah, I'm at the bottom. New scan idea. Can you show me a list stocks short float percent and are up today on good volume? So show me stocks that have a high short float, that might be a short squeeze. And if they're up today, there might be a really good chance that could be an idea. So the whole concept of me showing you this and Dan tomorrow is a new way to interact with what was before, an F1 car. You got to go through the gears. Well, you don't have to go through the gears anymore. You just got to kind of talk to it and tell it where you want to go. So submit that query. It's really going slow too. I wonder why it's doing that. So here we go. We get to the trade ideas chapter, top list link. So it knew to give me a list because I asked for a list. So I'm going to copy. So I've just copied the collaboration code for what I asked it to configure for me using this link. So we'll first open a top list window as the shell, and then we can right click, collaborate, and paste what it gave us. Cool, it gave us some ideas. So let's quickly look under the hood. What did it do for us? Relative volume of 2. Okay, didn't really do much. Didn't really do what I asked. Wonder what's happening. The last 2 scans I've asked, I've not been impressed. Something's changed. High short floats. Okay, so it's not giving me what it's saying. Okay, the link you are giving me is not configured with what you are outlining. Maybe I have to start getting mean, like Dan. Telling me this is a corrected version. You're right. Let me reconfigure the link properly. Okay, let's see. This is interesting. Let's see what happens. Okay, there's our existing scan. Let's replug it in. Collaborate, paste, new list. Okay, something broke. Something's not working all of a sudden. I wonder what. I'll talk to Dan about that, because that's disappointing, because it was working so well, and it's telling me it's understood but it's not correcting it. So I'm going to go ahead and close this session. I think I tired it out. All right. You want to look at FANG? Is that what you're asking for as a stock chart, Iris? Or is that another question? If you're asking about the stock, it doesn't look that great on the daily chart. It's very much under pressure intraday and today. Here we go. All right, guys, I got to leave in 5 minutes. So again, Dan's going to be back tomorrow, and he'll probably do a better job of presenting than I have, because I'm straggling behind the progress that he's been making. And like I said, he was started working on Grok 3 as well. So how can I change my top list into a tree map super? Oh, on the browser version, I don't know if that's possible on the browser version. I don't think it is. That's the difficult part. If it's not in your right-click menu, it's not going to be an option. But you can right-click just to see. Yeah, Pepe's confirming no. It's a function of these HTML charts, these browser charts interface that we're using on the TI Pro. PDF for Edwin. Okay, I see that. PDF for Sky. Scott, Sean. I see all your emails. MB, John, and John, two Johns. No problem. As soon as I'm able to get into cruise control, I will reply, and I will set you guys up with those 3 PDFs to get started with. Just introduce your GPT to Trade Ideas and upload those PDFs and let it know that you're going to send it the guardrails, so to speak, of how it can start to work. And it's a work in progress. We'll have more updates for you. And honestly, obviously, Dan is going to take this idea and run with it a million miles an hour. And at some point in the future, it'll be integrated into the basic configuration. In a perfect world, I right click here and I get a window and I start typing, and it spits something back at me. I don't have to do copy, paste, link, all that crap. So that's where we're kind of headed. Just an early peek at the new technology. All right, anything else before I got to run here in 2 minutes? I could have answered my own question. This is the scan over here that shows me stocks with high short floats. I wanted to compare it to what I had, and something broke, because the last 2 that I tried, 3 that I tried to configure with you guys live, something broke, which is weird, but total work in progress. How's my OKLO doing? My only position of the day. It's hanging in there. Just going to let that one hopefully work. All right, I don't see any more questions, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to duck out, but I'll be answering those emails that you guys sent me during the next hour. I saw like 7 or 8 in there, and I'll reply with those PDFs to give you guys a really good running start who are curious and want to play with, the brave new world here that we got going on. All right, everybody, thanks. I'm going to sign out, and I'll see you next time. Bye.